grab a blanket and snuggle up, for we are about to begin Story Time with the Herd. Welcome to Story Time with the Herd. I'm your host, Magus. In this episode of Story Time with the Herd, we will be taking a look into the history and story of Kingdom Hearts Coded, or Recoded as most people know it to be today. Before we get into that, I want to sincerely apologize for not putting out the remainder of the Kingdom Hearts podcast like I said I would do 8 months ago. At the end of my pregnancy, things got a little complicated and it was hard to do, well, basically anything. With that being said, I am going to try and get the rest of this podcast episode out before the end of February of 2025. Let's get into the history of the game. The original version of the game was called Kingdom Hearts Coded, and it was only released in Japan. And they released it in a little bit of a weird way. They released it in, chapters. The first 2 episodes of Kingdom Hearts Coded were Olympus Coliseum Side Episode and Traverse Town Special Edit version. And they were released in November of 2008 in Japan. The rest of it was released starting in June of 2009 and ending in January of 2010. They were episodes 1 through 8. Eventually, a remake of the game called Kingdom Hearts Recoded was released everywhere else in January of 2011. Now, this game wasn't exactly hugely popular, so I wasn't able to find any fun facts about the game, which is a little sad because you know how much I love my fun facts in these games. So, it's going to be a little short of an intro, and we're going to hop right into the story.
One day, after the adventures of Sora and his friends seemed to have come to an end, the first volume of Jiminy's journal, the one that had become blank during the adventure in Castle Oblivion, had acquired a new sentence out of nowhere. There, hurting will be mended when you return to end it. After being informed of this, King Mickey thought there might be clues left in the blank pages, so he digitized Jiminy's journals in an attempt to investigate. However, the datascape that resulted was full of bugs, and he was unable to analyze the message. He asked the Sora in the data world, Data Sora, to explore the world and repair the data. In the data world that recreated Jiminy's journal, things that were supposed to be there had disappeared. Things that weren't supposed to be there existed, and strange phenomenon was occurring. A figure in a black coat appeared before the perplexed Sora and urged him to enter a keyhole. Doing as he was told, Sora got rid of the bugs lurking within the data world's keyhole, whereupon a new message and images emerged in Jiminy's journal. As King Mickey and the others attentively watched Data Sora's adventures through a monitor, they hoped that if he continued to eliminate the bugs in the data world like this, the mystery of Jiminy's journal would be solved. Everything seemed to be going well, but King Mickey and the others had unknowingly become trapped in the room. Furthermore, Sora, who was thought to be eradicating bugs in the data world, also showed up in their room. The figure in the black coat, Data Riku, who had been chosen as a refuge for the data in Jiminy's journal, appeared before the bewildered group and told them the shocking truth. In order to solve the mystery of the worlds etched into Jiminy's journal, King Mickey and the others had been taken into the data world, room and all. In the middle of Data Riku's explanation, someone interfered with the data world and took away the path connecting back to the real world. Sora continued his quest to eliminate the bugs in the data world with the added goal of finding a new way home for King Mickey and the others. The culprit who cut off their way back to the real world was Pete, who had come from there. He was conspiring with Maleficent to send darkness from the data world into the real world and try to take it over. Sora tried to stop them, but his Keyblade made from data was destroyed, and Riku, who came running, was kidnapped. If Riku, made of data from Jiminy's journal, fell under their control, It would be just a matter of time before darkness tainted the data world. King Mickey hurried to save Riku, and Sora, who had no means of fighting, followed him. Donald and Goofy rushed to Sora, who had embarked for Hollow Bastion without a weapon, in order to help him. Pete made fun of them, asking why they were helping Data Sora, who, at the end of the day, was an imitation. Donald and Goofy countered that even if he was made of data, Sora was still their dear friend. After affirming his bond with them, Data Sora learned anew the strength of the heart, which by nature couldn't be digitized, and by doing so, he obtained a Keyblade in the true sense. When the situation reversed and Pete was cornered, he set up Riku, who had been implanted with bugs, as a puppet under his control, and sent him after Sora. After he was forced to fight Sora, Riku lost consciousness from the effects of the bugs. Sora infiltrated Riku's data to eliminate the bugs that had taken over his best friend's body. By clearing out the bugs in the world of Riku's memory and defeating Maleficent, who was hindering the group's escape, he also succeeded in reclaiming a path back to the real world. King Mickey and the rest returned to the real world, and it seemed as though Data Sora's adventures had come to an end. But something beyond compare with the previous abnormalities suddenly attacked the data world. The bug lurking in the data's source, Sora's Heartless, came alive in order to destroy the entire datascape. His Heartless had absorbed the wills of the Heartless Sora had defeated in the data world and transformed into something grotesque. After a long battle, Sora defeated his Heartless with the help from King Mickey and the others. And to return everything to the way it should be, Maleficent and Pete, who'd been left behind in the data world, were sent back to the real world. All the bugs had been eliminated, and Jiminy's journal was restored at last. However, the journal's data going back to the way it was before meant that Sora and Riku in the data world would lose their memories of their adventure up to that point. Although he was a being made of data, Sora felt a lump in his throat as he bid farewell to King Mickey and the others. Although the bugs had been eliminated thanks to Data Sora's efforts, the mystery of the message hadn't been solved. So what was that message that had emerged in the journal? As King Mickey and the others were pondering this after bidding farewell to Data Sora, Data Riku came to them with unexpected news. Thanks to the data being restored, he found a door leading to the extra data that someone had added. To investigate the extra data and solve the mystery of the message, King Mickey asked Riku to help him visit the data world again, and he called on Data Sora to join forces anew. Although Sora had lost his memories, the king felt familiar to him. He answered Mickey's call and opened the door to the extra data. What spread out beyond the door was the world called Castle Oblivion. Sora lost sight of King Mickey. Guided by a figure in a black coat, he was forced to meet illusions of many people and subsequently feel the pain of forgetting who he'd met over and over again. The sadness of being unable to remember them produced pain in his heart. But even so, Sora didn't want to relinquish the hurt he felt. The figure in the black coat invited him to let go of the hurt and make things easier for himself, but Sora countered that hurt was what connected him to his lost memories. These words enraged the person in the black coat. He took 2 Keyblades in his hands and attacked Sora. The true motive of the figure in the black coat was to confirm that Sora was prepared to accept the hurt from here on out. After Sora lived up to his expectations and proved that he had the power to transform his pain into bonds, the figure, Data Roxas, looked satisfied as he disappeared. Sora joined back up with King Mickey and arrived at the innermost part of Castle Oblivion. It was there that Naminé, the person who left the mysterious message in Jiminy's journal, was awaiting for him. Back when she'd manipulated Sora's memories, she noticed that the memories of people who carried hurt slept within him. She wrote the message to inform Sora of this fact so that he could acquire the strength to endure the painful memories. After preparing themselves, Sora and King Mickey touched the memories of hurt, and images of all kinds of people came into their minds. Roxas, Xion, Naminé, Terra, Ventus, Aqua. The only person who could heal their pain and awaken them was the one who shared a bond with them, Sora. Understanding everything, King Mickey promised to tell the Sora in the real world about it, and Dada Sora made sure to tell Naminé thank you. By doing so, he accomplished what the real Sora had once been unable to do. Thank Naminé. The words of the other note left in the journal. After King Mickey returned to the real world, he wrote down the series of events in a letter and sent it to Sora on Destiny Islands. The door to a new adventure was soon to open.
That was a good story. But compared to the rest of the stories that we've done on Kingdom Hearts, that was actually fairly short. It's no Kingdom Hearts 1, am I right, guys? Not gonna lie, guys, this is one of my least favorite stories, and it's also one of my least favorite games, so I really don't have a whole lot of input here. So with that, we're just gonna skedaddle on over to the outro. The music in this episode is copyright Square Enix, and I am able to use it due to the material usage policy. This episode is not sponsored or endorsed by Square Enix. If you liked what you heard, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at mama_magus, or you can jump into my Discord server. The invite is in the episode description. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, and be sure to stay tuned for the next installment.